and now what Rasini has said, dysfunctional adults is basically what we have on board. So we have this situation where lots of people are very confused about early childhood education for some reason, because we haven't really given the right information to people. This is the way I see it. Are you hearing me? There's something. Okay. So when we talk about quality, when we talk about children, now Rasini, you said, I'm trying to be the perfect parent. In the eyes of a child, every parent is perfect. In the eyes of a child, every parent is perfect. They see the imperfection because when we move them out into the big world, if we can contain them and keep them in a box, well and good. But we can't do that. We have to give them the information, the knowledge, and the wings to fly. If we don't give them the wings to fly, they will be restricted adults, and we will have restricted thinking patterns on our hands. And there are 40-year-olds I am dealing with. I don't know about Rasini. I'm dealing with 40-year-olds. 40, not 04. 40-year-olds who cannot leave the house because they have to eat the mama's food, because mama cooks in a particular way. Now imagine the person has got married to a very nice girl, probably like one of you, and you are not going to tolerate this mama's boy. And he's going to have such a hard time living with you. And this is the whole aspect of the parental involvement in early childhood education. And this is what we want teachers to give to parents. Because if teachers are just going to use the curriculum and just going to move from one to the other without parenting, without giving them the parenting tips, you will have that 40-year-old in every generation. In every generation, there will be a 40-year-old or a 50-year-old who can't really leave the mama's apron strings. Okay, so I'm going to share with you a little PowerPoint presentation that I got. Can you see that? Yes. So this is called the dividends of an enriched early child. So we need to enrich early childhood education. When we say early childhood education, it means from conception to the age of 8, because the brain has caught the good, bad, ugly up to the age of 8. And being Sri Lankans, I would give ourselves another 2 years to hang on to the children. They're not hanging on to us, we are hanging on to them. And if we can hang on to them till they're 50, we will do that. Because that's who we are. We have to understand our culture. We have to understand our makeup. And everybody says, oh, I love my son, I love my child, I can't live without them. And it's, yes, we understand that. And we need to move out of that sector as well. We are not trying to take on a Western take on this to say, okay, at 13, you can do whatever you want, fly out of the house and live your own life. No, we will be happy to entertain them till they're 30 or 40 or whatever, but they need to do their own thing. They need to wash their own clothes at some point. I mean, there are lots of moms who tell me, find someone nice for my son. I said, what can he do? They say things like, oh no, he's got a car, he's got this, he's very well off. I said, yes, but what can he do? I get silence, and I don't get that call back again. So, so you see, we have a situation where we are not giving the right information to teachers, to educators. And I think, like Rasini said, every teacher should be empowered with the information to teach the next generation of people, because that is very important. If we are going to take this information and go into our graves, it's not going to help the next generation. We need to share and we need to empower the next generation of people who are going to study early childhood education. Whether you're going to have a qualification and use it, it's for your own good. It's for your own child. It's for your grandchild. It's for your great grandchildren. It's for the community. It's for the neighborhood. It's for society. So whatever qualification you have, if you don't want to have a qualification, that's fine too. But the information is there, and you can't really Google all this and find out whether my child is in this particular frame, because sometimes the internet is not the best place for to get information for your child, about your child, because your child is your child, your grandchild is your grandchild, your student is a student, not the Google student. The Google student will have a broad base of information, but you can't put that student in and plug it into a case study. Your child is a living being. It's not, the Google student is not a living being. It's someone who's writing a paper on children, on psychology, on research, on what they have done with children. It may not fit into the Sri Lankan pattern at all. So what I'm saying, I hope it sounds, it sounds, I don't know whether it sounds terribly advanced or terribly not enough, but I think it's important after so many years of doing research and working with children that I still think parents are not getting enough information, because, let me go to my next slide. So the beginning of early childhood, as you can see, is, I mean, basically, it is a scientific fact. There are lots of teenage girls who become pregnant and they don't know how it happened, even to this day. Yes, the internet is there and they know what sex is all about, but that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is the conception part. Oh, we didn't know. That's not good enough. A 19-year-old shouldn't be telling me that they didn't know how they conceived this child. That information should be with them, with parents. And I must say, parents don't want to talk about these issues with their children. We have a huge backlog of misinformation and not enough information that is not reaching the students. So like I have said, marriage, that's where it starts. I would like to start at A levels, but I will start at marriage. Okay, so you're going out with this guy or the girl, and you're all in this situation. All this the chemicals are working, and you're in love, and all this is happening. Rasini can tell you more about that chemical chemical matchup, and then you get a partnership going. And you spend so much on a wedding, don't you? Don't you spend like millions on a wedding? Basically, we spend millions on a wedding. But do we spend millions on a marriage? Do we spend millions on a partnership, on the journey, on the he versus she? It's always a case of, oh, your family or her family and that family. But you're one. You fell in love, so you might as well play the match now. And then we have branded babies. And this is the misinformation that lots of moms are getting. And I'm seeing a lot of feedback on what kind of bottles to use, what kind of baby stuff to use, what kind of brands are better. Yes, if it is important to you, I salute you. But at the same time, if the baby is hungry, he won't care what kind of branded bottle you're using, will he? I don't know. I'm asking young moms out here. I was a young mom a long time ago. So I don't know. I just put something in a bottle, a soda bottle, and put on a teat, and then feed the fellow with it. Because he's so hungry. That is the important thing, to feed the hunger. But now the shift has happened. Now people are looking at brands. Now people are looking at a very different perspective of childcare. And childcare is in brands. And motherhood cannot be branded. I'm sorry to say this, but it cannot be branded. The child looks at the mother and he doesn't see a brand. He sees mama, oh amma, oh ami. That's it for him. And then we have lessons in love. So lessons in love is all about family. It's nothing to do with the individual love we have for each other. It's to do with the whole spectrum of love for ourselves. First of all, we are not loving ourselves. Rasini, I don't know about the other ladies out there and all the other gentlemen out there. I think the guys, basically they can have a drink and they can forget about their lessons in love. But the women, they have this issue of, am I being loved before the way that I was loved before marriage? I'm not being told that I'm being loved. Do you love me? All that is part of a woman's game, because men are not paying enough attention. And this is not because I'm saying that because I don't know how many men are on this forum, but basically now they're at home for the last so many weeks. They have been at home, and they have been getting on each other's nerves. I can tell you that the lessons in love are truly tested. So, Rasini, do you have anything to say about these two slides, or shall I go on, or does anyone want to
No,
have any questions,
I'm
or how?
absolutely enjoying it, Shanti ma'am. Always love to hear your approach on things. Well, like you rightfully
Well, it's
say, early childhood education and child psychology should actually begin very early in an individual's life. And we are not being properly acknowledged and educated um, in these certain things, and that is why actually people go through a lot of issues later on. Like I said, you think
yes,
that such things should not be addressed, or we have a particular age. I mean, it's true, because you have to be in a particular age to understand certain concepts,
yes,
and that is something, but the thing is, those concepts then should be given in the right way also, not as something like a very taboo kind of a topic to talk about, or else you should only talk about your curiosities by the time you turn 21, or when you're just about to get married, or like that. Because I know for a fact there are so many individuals who get into marriages without even understanding the concept of marriage and what.
well, so see, the thing is, I think it's the wrong side of sex we are talking about. Because at 13, it's all to do with the curiosity. When the girl child attains puberty and the boy child attains puberty as well,
Of course.
there's a lot of insecurity, and there's a lot of curiosity. Now, if we are going to thwart that curiosity, if we are going to downplay that, if we are going to trample upon it and say, no, those things you can wait till 21, when you get married you can get to know all those things, that's a terrible thing in today's world. In my time, it was accepted that you wait till even 40 you have to be a virgin to be married in my time. Okay, now it's like, really, you don't have to be anything of the sort. You just think of getting married and get married. Okay, so basically, women and men are education, I'm talking about young girls and boys, when they're planning marriage, we are not giving them enough food to think about. We are not giving them the responsibility of saying, okay, a child is a responsibility. It's a journey of 18 years. It's not a journey that you just start, okay, you have a baby bassinet and you have a nice baby bath and you give it. It's not a toy for you to cuddle for about 2-3 years and then send the fellow to preschool and then primary school and then the grade 5 and then, okay, graduation and smiling pictures and all that. It is a journey of 18 years. That's like a whole quarter of your life. Now, are young men and women ready to take this? Yes, some of them are. Some of them really look forward to babies and having a family. Some of them are not ready. And that is because we are not giving enough attention to the fact that the responsibility angle, because it is a legacy. We are talking about a legacy. From a whisper to a bang, we are talking about heredity. We are talking about genetics. We are talking about children with strengths and weaknesses. And we have to put in the values as we go along. But what have we listened to? What have we learned over the because early childhood education is there's something wrong with my connection. Okay.
Just that's
No.
fine.
Yeah,
Okay.
we can hear you.
Okay.
I
So
actually wanted to add something to that, Shanti ma'am. I think, like you rightfully said, it's a matter of being very accountable about this decision that you have
yes,
made.
yes,
I mean,
yes.
I would like to tell any of you, look, you don't have to be a mother or a father to
No,
actually have fulfillment in your life.
not at all.
Right? You should not be considered as somebody who has half lived their life just because you decide you don't want to be a parent. I mean, it should be a personal choice and a very accountable choice, because like you said, you're not just there having a toy for just few years and then cuddle it whenever you want it, and then then they go off like that. No, it's a very big responsibility. So if you are not psychologically ready for that responsibility, do not do it for anybody in the society. Do not do it for your parents. Do not do it for anybody or somebody saying that, oh, your biological clock is ticking and then it's gonna go off and then you should have children right now. No, do it for yourself if you want to do it. Then I think it will give you that ability to absolutely be accountable for this decision.
And
Then
this is also, sorry, this is also for men. Because
absolutely.
there are lots of boys. Actually, there have been only 2 boys that I have trained in early childhood education, and both of them are abroad. Because in Sri Lanka, we are not having enough men in our classrooms. And when there were these 2 boys, very young boys who were in the classroom, we were asked to take a back seat. And we were not even considered. It was always this ayah or this ayah, and come and play ball with me, come and play with me. It was always a case of having to do something to do with the ayah, because ayah used to kick ball with them, he used to climb, he used to do so many things that the lady teachers I don't know whether they were not capable. Certainly, I'm not capable of doing half the things that they were capable of doing. But they really enjoyed the company of the young men. Now, Sri Lanka is a little backward in that way. We are not engaging enough men in our classrooms, and I would love to train men in this area. So, Rasini, you have gone. You've left us. So
no, I'm right here.
okay. Sorry. So you see, like I was saying, it's the important thing about being men and women is not the important. It's the person. You need to be the person. You need to really love the child. Love the child for what he's doing. If the child wants to stand and watch, stand and look at nothing, you should be in a position to stand and look at nothing.
Exactly.
Yeah, but the thing is, with early childhood education, we have been ingrained in the opposite way of rushing, rushing, rushing. You know, we are not now in the new early childhood curriculums that we are getting, the new models. I always train people to go with the child. And Montessori is that basically. I'm touching on Montessori here because I'm a Montessorian primarily. Um, the main thing is that you go with the child. The child doesn't go with you. You go with the child because he's the new being. He's the one who's leading us. We are not leading them. Yes, we have to have our qualification. Yes, we have to have our knowledge. Yes, we have to have all those things that are necessary to work with children. But we must understand that children are our guides, that children will be we should be following in the footsteps of the children. So sometimes heredity and genetics will stand in the way. If you take a class of 25 children, if you take a class of 25 children, all 25 won't be sitting and doing the same drawing unless they're really, they're in this kind of military setting where the teacher says, okay, draw, paint. We're going to draw a bunch of grapes and everybody takes the purple. And if one child decides to color it in blue, the teacher cannot accept it. Now, this is where we are changing. This is what the changes of early childhood education is. We have to accept the fact that that one child can change direction in all of us. So that is the child's strength. Again, there are weaknesses in children that we need to turn into strengths. Then we have values that we need to impart. These values didn't come from another country. We had these values within us in the Sri Lankan culture, basically respecting our elders, standing up when a teacher walks into the classroom. It is not beneath a person to pay obeisance to your parents. That is in another culture. Our culture says that to pay obeisance, to respect a parent or a teacher, you can pay obeisance by going down on your haunches and worshipping that person. It does not matter. It is not something foreign to us. It is us. And this is what culture in early childhood education means. And that's why I've asked the question, what have we listened to all this time? What have we learned? Where are we going with this education? And where are we going with this education is this man. This is a genius, Robert Plomin. I don't know, Rasini, have you heard about him? He talks about DNA and the DNA behavior, and he's very good at, he actually talks about twins.
I'm hearing for the very first time. I'm quite excited. I'm gonna Google about him.
Okay. Okay. So just check. Yeah. Check him out. Check him out. He's a good-looking guy, anyway. So he's more my age than yours. So, yeah, he specializes in twins. So very interesting take. So these are areas that we talk about in early childhood education. It's not just I adore Sigmund Freud, I adore Erikson, I adore all these classical, like the masters.
Things, you know, when it comes to Freud, I would say I absolutely love his concept of defense mechanisms.
Yes.
Yes. And some of it is right. You can't entirely criticize the fella, you know. You can't entirely criticize anything.
Not at all.
And pieces you can take from every individual.
Yes, and also we have to understand that early childhood education came into the world around 1500s. Now I asked this question in one of my batches. I said, where were we in Sri Lanka in the 1500s? And we didn't know. we were being captured by the Portuguese or the Dutch or the whoever. So there we were running around, and then there was early childhood education exploding on the face of the earth in the 1500s. And John Locke was one of those people who kind of brought it all in. So now this guy, Clomin, he talks about the DNA factor of behavior, how behavior affects. And whatever we say about behavior modification, if the DNA is in us, if we have the hereditary genes, if we are going to get angry and whatever anger management, yes, we can do positive thinking and all that, but if we are angry, we get angry. Okay, we can do meditation from dawn to dusk. It will help in certain things, but when it comes to genetics, you really don't want to play around with it. And this is what I tell my teacher trainees. You can go up to a certain point, but beyond that, you just leave everything alone, because you can't play around with heredity. And the next one, children are difficult. Are they difficult? Yes, most certainly they are. But adults are difficult too, aren't they? I mean, we are difficult people. I think we are the most difficult people to them.
Absolutely.
And
All
teachers
this,
are
I mean,
difficult
we
as
want
well.
to come away, isn't it?
Yes, because
If we are not,
lots of parents are talking to me and they're saying, oh, he's not sitting in one place. Can we sit in one? Is this possible for us? I mean, if we were given a chance to go out and, go and sit in a coffee shop or whatever, we would be gladly doing that. But no, we are stuck at home now. We are doing this and we know that we've got to do it. Okay, so basically, we have to learn to adjust ourselves. Children don't have to adjust. They're children.
absolutely.
They're children. They learn adjustment as time goes on. They will learn it. But there's no reason for teachers and adults to be difficult because they want the children to be easy to handle. Because children are not easy at all. But at the same time, I must say, it is a wonderful journey. Early childhood, if anyone wants to study early childhood education or child psychology, it's a wonderful journey, because you're talking about putting people of another generation with values, with concerns of nurture. Otherwise, we'll be teaching them other things, the negative side of it. So all this is to do with parenting. And nobody said that parenting was easy. It is a difficult job, but it is the teacher who makes it easy for the parent. This is a skill. This is the skill that we teach in early childhood education. The parenting part of it. This is a new area. 25 years ago, nothing of this was taught in Sri Lanka. You were parents, you just became parents, and that was it. But now it is important that teachers have to know parenting skills to pass it on to other parents. And this is all about selfless parenting. Selfless parenting is not for parents. Selfless parenting is for teachers. And when you come to the end of all this, the parents should be in a position to not have, or to have a little bit of depression and no regrets at all, because parents are telling me, I did this for him, I did that for him, I did the other thing for him, but he's not looking at me. Who is not looking at you? My son is not even looking at me. He doesn't know what kind of medicine I take. He doesn't care about me. Yes, but did you say you cared about him? Yes, all the time. But did you show that you were in need? No. Mama is never in need. I want to tell you this story about about a 35. I think he must be about 35. The mother told me, you know, I wait for him till he comes home now because he's at home. I wait for him till he finishes all his work and he shuts his computer down. I know when he's done, and but still he never asks me whether I have had dinner, because I leave the dinner out for him. I make it hot for him. I keep his tea. He doesn't know that the mother is in need. He will never know, because every mother should tell the child, I have a headache. I'm sorry, I can't do this. Or today, mama is not feeling all that well. Can you do this? Can you do this by yourself? And this is the importance of early childhood education, that when your children are very young, and when you are young as well, I'm talking about teachers as well, you show them cooking skills, you show them self-help skills, so they will never go hungry. They will never die of hunger in their own home, when the fridge is full of food that they don't know how to cook it. Okay, so I remember when my son was about 2 or 1.5, I used to take him to the Mount Lavinia Polar, and I used to walk with him, and I used to train him to look at the vegetables and say, okay, this is not a really good one, this is a good one. And lots of people, like the, you know, these ammes who used to come from various places, ane pau, ane podi baba pau. I used to think pau for me, or pau for the woman who's going to get married to him. He will bring all the rotten vegetables home. Okay, so from a very young age, when you train your child to look for the good things, look for the goodness in people as well as the things that you're eating. You don't want to eat rotten food. You don't want to engage with rotten people. It's as basic as that. So when you engage with people, when you engage with the world outside, you really help the child who is in that very early stages of understanding. He may not understand the whole gamut of a person's smile. You know, some person who will smile at a child has a different smile. The way we look at that smile and the way that the child looks at the person smiling at him may be two different things. We will look at him, okay, he's going to abuse my child, but the child is looking at him, oh, he's a very nice man, he's smiling with me. So we are there to guide that. We should not be in a position to say, okay, I mean, he's a nice man, so he can take my child away. You can't do that. You have to be the authoritarian parent at some point. You
Absolutely.
have to be the, yes, and you have to be the parent who will take responsibility for your child who does not know what responsibility is. So you have to it is a continuous journey of 18 years, like I said. This does not stop. From the day the child is born into the world till the time the child does his A levels, it is a continuous journey. And lots of parents, they think, okay, now it's Montessori is over, preschool is over now, we can relax. No, nothing like that. You don't relax. You just continue the journey on the same strain at the same speed, and you just go with the flow.
Yeah.
And
Also,
so,
Shabnam, I would like to say that, a parent's role, like, always fluctuates. It should be very adoptable too, but at the same time, do not feel guilty for actually establishing rules and all those things as well, because you have to at some point, and at the same time you need to be that understanding friend for them to
yes,
do
yes.
the confrontation also.
Very important. Yes. You have to be the friend, but at the same time, the parent also the child has to understand, this is my parent. This is not my buddy that I share a drink with. This is my parent. And the parent then has to take the responsibility of of putting some sense into the whole scenario. For example, there will be a time, if you have teenage girls or boys, there will be a time when you get an abundance of invitations to parties. Do you send your child to all the parties, or ask your child, okay, whom do you want to go with? You give them that, that you extend that to the child, because the child can make a decision. Okay, I have 6 invitations this month. Am I going for all 6 parties? Now we can't have any party, but I'm just saying, once we come out of this, and the child will want to go for all 6, of course, because they're the friends. But as a parent, do you know where this child is going? Do you know who the parents are? Do you know where they are going to end up? And these are the questions that parents, that is why I said this journey is 18 years.
Very
you know, and you as an authority, a parent has to have some authority. The parent, yeah, lots of parents say, oh,